So good evening and welcome to SAS Sober and Smiling. My name's Rob.
I'm Liam.
I'm Jamie.
I'm Nick.
So tonight's episode is, I think we're on episode 34. So we've got another special one tonight. So it's Liam has decided, bless him, to do a main share and just have a chat about his recovery and how he's doing today, really. So we'll let Liam talk because it's hard to get Liam to talk sometimes. So we'll just let him crack on.
Is it
Yeah.
really hard to get people to
It
talk
is, yeah.
sometimes? So I decided to do this on here because at first, really, I didn't really want to come on camera because I was very unsure about breaking my anonymity. But to be honest with you, once I got over the confidence thing of it, it's probably the best thing I've ever done. And it has helped me in some respects a lot. So basically, I'm Liam, I'm 37, I'm a full-time musician. I'm not really going to go full on deep into where I come from and all that kind of stuff, because it's not like kind of this is your life. It's kind of a bit, I want to talk more about my addiction, really. But just to give you a little insight, I've come from quite a decent upbringing. I've always been very lucky, quite privileged in some respects. I've got a really, really, really strong family unit, and I've never wanted for nothing. And yeah, we talk about like rock bottoms and stuff in addiction and that, and my rock bottom was like me in my bedroom alone thinking I need to sort this shit out. I've never lost anything. Like I haven't lost my home. I haven't lost my missus. I've somehow still managed to keep hold of everything. So yeah, basically, my addiction isn't where my story starts. Some things happened long before, I ever decided to pick up what's generating into where I am today. So I do believe that I was born an addict. It's a neurological thing, it's a disorder in my head that if something, anything, it could be anything, alcohol, substances, food, whatever if that stops me feeling the way I'm feeling at that present moment, I will go for it. So yeah, it all really started. I went through school. School was horrible for me, and that's where I feel things started going wrong for me, because I was a really very overweight in school. I was severely bullied. Like many others in addiction, it's probably where most of the stories start. But it didn't do. That's where my anxiety started, my confidence. Feeling less than, not feeling. Always thinking, do I fit in? Do I look okay? Do this, do that, and that has built up over the years. But then I kind of found that I was quite good at music. So, and it just kind of came naturally to me, it just happened. I don't ever remember going, oh, I might try that. I just kind of like picked up a guitar once and thought, this is quite easy. And it just kind of came to me quite quick. And that very quickly became a mass for me. And I developed this alter ego as such. And suddenly people were liking me and I was getting attention through this. And later on in life, that would eventually become my enemy. But yeah, so what I would say late 20s, early 30s is where it started all going wrong, because I found alcohol and substances, and it was like a little superpower for me. because I kind of like was around this crowd, and I found myself being part of this crowd, and sometimes being the ringleader in this crowd, you know. Um, and it was like it was an everyday thing at that time, and I didn't see anything past that because it was making me feel comfortable at the time. You know, I had this newfound confidence. People were liking me. You know, it was always all back to Liam's, back to Liam's. You know, and they always knew it was going to be fun. But what I didn't realize at the time is these people were as bad, if not as bad as me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I created this little crowd that were all doing the same thing as I was doing, so it was normal, right? And I thought that was fucking normal, right? So it wasn't until I kind of started breaking away from that when obviously I was like, okay, I need to do something about this, and that's when I found recovery. And I started coming into the rooms. And do you know what? At first, I didn't want to come into the rooms. You know, I was doing it to please other people. But as I went along, you know, as they say, you find the similarities. You know, you start going, oh, I did that and I did this and I'm like that and la la la. And you know, I came in with quite a bit of an ego. You know, I'm like, you know, nothing like any of you guys. But and then there was this whole God thing. And, you know, I tried to get into that. You know, I even started going to church and I started playing in the band at church. But, and I was in there for a fair few months, if not a year nearly. And I tried to understand it, but I just could never get a grip on it. You know, this whole thing of putting all your trust in something that's not real, you know. So I broke away from that, you know, and because that was just sending me insane. You know, it's like how I just couldn't fathom it, you know, because, you know, if I've said it before, if there was some kind of being, you know, looking down and sorting things out for us, surely the world wouldn't be like it is right now. You know what I mean? But I do believe in a higher power. Like, I believe that it's, if you want to call it God, if you want to call it whatever, I believe it's in all of us. It's in our hearts to be a good, decent human being, be a nice person, you know. And I am a nice person, you know. I am a good guy. I've got this little thing wrong with me, but it doesn't make me a bad person. But the thing is with me is this is something I need to really work on. Is my understanding my emotions and understanding how I'm feeling in the present, because I sometimes feel things too much, you know, and I'll like overanalyze things way too much, and then it gets exhausting, and then it gets overwhelming, and then pop. And I only ever feel at the beginning of feelings. Like, I'll only go, oh, I'm starting to get angry, or I'm starting to get jealous, or I'm starting to feel whatever. And then all of a sudden, I know what I'll do. Boom. And I'll do something to mask that. And so I don't feel it. And unfortunately, this weekend, that happened to me, you know, a couple of days ago. And, you know, I hold my hands up. I've done it. I'll wear it, you know, and it's not the first time. And do you know what? It was a whole thing that was building up, and maybe it built up way before a week before, you know, maybe consciously, subconsciously, whatever you. But little things were happening every day. And it felt like someone had a fucking voodoo doll on me. You know, things were going wrong. You know, like, you can't do this, flat tire on my band, gigs getting cancelled, you know. And then what really sparked it off for me is I wanted to take the band in for a rehearsal room, and I was told I couldn't have it. And this was at the end of the week. So instantly I just flipped, and I was so rude to everybody. I was like, it was just like insane. Talking about it now, I can't believe how rude I was, you know. And I was going around going, you know, if I want that room, I should be able to have this room, you know. Do you know who I am? That kind of thing, and giving it all the big one, you know.
You've verbally threw the fuck it switch.
This is it. So I hit the fuck it switch.
Yeah.
I hit the fuck it switch, and I had the means. I went out. I did it, and I'm not going to lie to you. For the first 2.5 hours, it was fucking great. Right? It was, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and lie, because the reason being is I didn't go off on a rampage. I didn't go off and party. I didn't feel like I needed to go out and drink. I didn't even drink one sip of alcohol at all. Right? In fact, I was on Diet Coke and cups of tea. Right? And I was sat at home and I picked up my guitar and I sat there. And do you know what? It kind of just went, and it just calmed me down. And I was like, oh, peace. But then, obviously, when that wore off, that's when it all kicked in. I was like, right, okay, I've done wrong here. I know I've done wrong here. So the first person I rung was my partner. And I owned up to it. I had my friend come round. I owned up to it. Rang Rob. I owned up to it. And I hold accountability for it, you know. And the thing is, it's nobody's going to come and save me, but that can also imply nobody's going to fucking stop me. So I have to hold a full responsibility for that. I have to hold that. So yeah, that kind of happened, and I was talking to Jamie when I came in, and it's kind of like the whole thing of being powerless within the framework of recovery is, I kind of see it as, yes, I am powerless in that moment, but I'm not completely powerless. I still have the power of choice, because I did that one thing. I went out and got that and picked up, right? I did that, and I still had the means to get more. For God's sake, I had like £200 on the sideboard. And my missus was at work. I could have gone out and just gone freaking mental, right? But I did it, and it gave me that peace. And God's honest truth, I didn't want any more. I stopped, and I thought, do you know what? I'm done. And I got in the shower, I sat at home, and I rode it out. Granted, I didn't get straight to sleep. I was tossing and turning for hours up on end, right? But I rode it out. And I got up Sunday morning, went for a walk in the sun, went for some breakfast, and just cracked on. Now, my partner, she wasn't best pleased, obviously, but she was calm with it. She was like, do you know what? I saw it coming, because of the way you've been the past week or so. You know, you've been very erratic, and you've been not handling situations like you should handle them. But yeah, so that was really it, you know. And I wanted to come on here, and I wanted to do it on the podcast and talk to you so you can physically see me. And I'm here, and I hold my hands up. I've made the mistake, and you know, I've analysed it over the past few days, and I've been around recovery for quite a while now, so I know what to do. It's just the fact that I sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, I need to work on sitting with myself more and handling situations more. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if something really ticks me off, just step back and count to 10 and fucking breathe a minute. Do you know what I mean? Instead of going, fuck you, blah, 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 and then going over the edge and doing that.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, I had, I think part of, my recovery kicked in, because I honestly, I didn't want to go any further. I didn't want any more. And I was on my own in the house, and I had the means, I had everything to do what I needed to do, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I did that, and it set me at peace. But then I told myself, I ain't getting any more. I don't need any more. I don't need to do this. And I didn't.
And yeah, maybe there's, I mean, if your mind's telling you, right, you've done it, and it's saying, like, right, I don't want any more, maybe it's finally put you at peace. Put you at peace to say, right, maybe that's the last hurrah.
But I'm not I'm not condoning it. I'm not sitting here, and I know I was playing with fire. I know for a fact I was playing with fire, because if that happens, yeah, maybe it happen like that again, but then it could happen another way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know all the consequences about it. You know, I'm not shut off to that. I know all the consequences about it.
Yeah, you see, I'm trying to do that what you've done, but for me, my addiction's got that far down the line. I won't be able to stop and do that. So you have been lucky, but like you say, you are playing with fire.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
the thing is, what you need to understand, like we said about earlier on, you need to understand your head, because you've had that one and stopped. In a weird way, you'll be trying to convince yourself that I ain't really got a problem anymore. So
Well,
maybe
no.
it'll be right to do it next time, because I
You know
get away
what?
with it.
I told him that.
Yes,
Yeah.
you are. You are right.
Sunday.
You are right. But the thing is, I haven't thought about it. I haven't even thought about that. I've just cracked on and kind of like picked myself up and cracked on with my days.
I'm saying when that thought does come in, though, that's what you'll think. Well,
This is where-
I only had one.
this
and I
is
stopped,
where-
and I got the control to stop it. So
This is
if
where I need to
everything
work.
kind of bubbles up again, I'll be able to do that.
No, this is where I need to work on that bit
Yeah.
of my recovery,
Mm.
of not getting to that point where I actually go, fuck it. Do you know what I mean? So in situations, just stepping back and going, right, okay, this situation could tip me over the edge. I need to sort this out.
Yeah.
You know, instead of going full blazing, bah, you know.
Analysing the situation
Yeah,
before
yeah.
coming to the
And
conclusion.
that is something I need to work on within myself. I know that.
But you don't. But the thing is, though, I mean, what you're saying, what you said there about analysing it, when you get that busy and you start people pleasing, and you've got your life, you've got your job, and everything gets busy, you kind of forget about yourself. You start putting things.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that later. Or
This is what you
and
can't do.
that's what. But
Yeah.
that's probably what you've
Yeah,
done.
exactly. Exactly that. Yeah.
You put things in front of your recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
The most important thing out of all this is, have you learned from it?
Have I learned from it?
What or I won't ask you what you've learned, because that's putting you on the spot. But have you learned from this slip? And if you have, sort of like, and me and you obviously we'll talk about it at some point. And it's, if you have learned something, it's the action you're going to put into it. Because if you don't, if you've any slip for anybody, if it's ignored, then 100% it's going to happen again. If you don't identify a reason for a slip and just hope and pray that it's not going to happen again.
I don't think it's
then
been ignored. No.
No, I'm not saying there is, but if there's no action after that,
Yeah.
You're going to slip again.
Yeah. Well, the action would be me looking into how I handle things and my emotions, and just not getting overwhelmed, and not analysing things too much, and not letting ego take over.
Okay.
That would be something that I need to sit down and break down and work out how I'm going to approach things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's the drug and the alcohol isn't the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm the fucking problem.
100%.
I am the fucking problem.
100%.
And
Right.
And what you said, that conversation that we've had, I'd put money on you've got ADHD.
Yeah.
Because when
Yeah.
you've had
That's what I
you've had
thought.
the substance,
Yeah.
it's just giving that peace and quiet, and that's
Yeah.
why I used to take it.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a bit of peace and
Yeah.
quiet and everything.
No,
But
I've
I
never-
did much. I thought if I have some of that, it kind of takes
I've
me
never
out of my head.
I've never been diagnosed with that. So yeah.
Mm.
And I said that to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said I think probably I have, because my head was so busy and so erratic.
Yeah.
It kind of like chilled me out.
Yeah.
And it was like
You
a
want to
nice,
get out of your head.
yeah, and it was like, and it was like a nice little cloud.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it was like,
Yeah.
oh,
So you're self-medicated.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's exactly what I've
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you know, that's the point. As long as
Yeah.
you know, and you have an action plan after,
Mhm.
and you don't self-action, because that's a no-no. You can't, and this is anybody, you can't look at something and go, well, that's wrong, and then I'm going to do that without help.
No, obviously not.
Because
Yeah.
your brain is automatically going to go to the easiest option
Yeah.
and the wrong option.
Yeah.
It's
Obviously.
only somebody else that can
Yeah.
guide you in that way.
Yep. Yeah.
Then yeah. I mean, any slip for anybody isn't sometimes a horrendous thing as long as we learn from it. Every slip, if you can learn from every single slip, then you're in the right direction.
See, I like straight away, your head goes to, I know from past experience as well, your head goes to, shit, what is everyone going to think? What's this? What's that? That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, hang on a minute. So I'm learning about myself. It shouldn't be.
It's your journey.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Oh, you've got more days than me. You're winning at this kind of thing. 'Cause it's not that kind of thing. I'm constantly learning about myself. Now, when I look back of how bad I was to now, it's completely night and day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I sound like I'm condoning what I've done, but I'm not. It's that switch went off at that present moment, and it was there. Boom! No one's going to stop me. But then it was almost like I got what I wanted, but then I woke up and gone, actually, you've done wrong here. Sort this shit out. Own it.
Yeah.
Take accountability for it, and fucking work on what you need to work on. Whereas in the past, like 3 years ago, or whatever, before I came into recovery, I'd have just gone mental, and I'd have done that, and I'd just gone, fuck it, and
Yeah.
more and 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 more.
Sort of
And
thing.
before I know it, it's like 4 or 5 days later, I'm in this void of hell,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the thing is, the relapse isn't it's not the best, but it's not that. It's what you do after it. 'Cause like you say,
absolutely.
you fall over, and some people just don't go back up because they think, well, what's the point? I can't
Yeah.
do it. And you stay
Absolutely.
stuck, but you kind of
Absolutely.
push yourself.
I see.
You've got back up.
One of the things with me as well, and I'll admit it and I'll say it, is I've never really had any consequences. Ever.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And that's another thing I need to look at. I've always been very, very lucky, and it's like, I guess I've got to count my blessings, really, haven't I? I don't really know what to say about that, because, it's all right. Oh, you'd be different if you lost this, and you lost your house, and you lost your marriage, and you'd lost this, and you fucked everything up because of it. But I've never had that.
You don't have to do that.
No,
I mean, if you look
No, you don't have to do that at all, mate. And I don't think it necessarily means
Do you
that
understand where my head's going?
it's
Yeah.
not a. People don't like a rock bottom isn't.
It's different for everybody.
It's
isn't
not
it?
Yeah.
popularity. It's not like a popularity contest.
You're not in
who's
a rock
strong
bottom
workers.
if you've done those things. You
Mm.
can not do any of those things. A rock bottom is not just a rock bottom. The classic rock bottom is clarity as well. So
Yes.
it's clarity
Yeah.
of your mind. Doesn't have to be the end of everything. You don't have to be in prison or
Mm.
whatever. It's just a switch of clarity.
Yeah.
That's all that
Yeah.
you need.
That moment where you actually say to yourself, like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
I said mine was sitting in my room crying for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But it is that moment, and I think you've got to be commended for the fact that you have done this, and you have come and been very professional about it, and you've obviously your recovery is working in a particular way. In the
without
fact
doubt.
that you have not gone out there and stayed out there, you've
Yeah.
come straight back.
Without
You've
doubt.
recognised the
That
problem.
It's
No.
like ego.
No,
People-
no way.
That in
No way.
itself
Yeah.
deserves
No
a
way.
pat on the back.
No way. No way. I know what I've got to work on. I know what I've got to do. I've been around.
If somebody
A
said
long
to you
time.
3 years ago
Mhm.
that when your using was at its worst,
Yep.
or whenever it was, if somebody said to anybody when their using is worst, you can either continue the way you're going,
Mhm.
or in a couple of years' time, you're going to slip every year or something. You'd take that in a fucking heartbeat,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because it's progress.
Yeah.
And as long as progress is continued forward each time,
Yeah.
then it's fine.
Yeah.
Nobody expects anybody to be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And not everyone says, and it's a true fact in recovery, no two recoveries are the same.
Mm.
some people, I've got to mind and just gone, that's it, I'll pull it down. And I'm not nowhere near stupid enough to say I'll never pick up again, because I also believe one bad day can change things.
See, another thing as
But
well is
everyone's different, Some
I believe, like, because I had a good 2-3 years bang at it, like mental, and today I live with those consequences, and I own it, and I'm responsible for that. But there's got to be somewhere where doing that, your dopamine levels are all over the place, right? So
You have low dopamine
Yeah.
ADHD.
yeah, so it's kind of like, for me to get literally like pissed off like I did the other week, and probably leading up to that with all these different things, straight away my head's gone back to that, to mask it, to escape it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know, why is it still going, actually, this will be all right if you do, this is going to calm you down a little minute.
Yeah, well,
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, you said about having like loss of power, but with cocaine, I haven't got any. All I'm in control of is putting that first one in, and then after that, I can't control what I do. But my relationship with alcohol now is different, because I know for a fact I could walk in the pub now and have a pint and walk away.
This is
Then I know I'd do that, and then I convince myself I ain't got a problem with alcohol anymore.
This
and
is
then
another
maybe a
thing.
couple of weeks later I go and have 2, and then a couple of weeks after that it'd be 3,
Yeah.
and then within 6 months I'm back to neck and links
See,
bottle of vodka
see,
again.
this is another thing. I don't crave it. I don't wake up thinking I need that, or I need a drink, or I need this. I mean, for God's sake, my life revolves around being in venues and in pubs. I've got a massive heavy weekend coming up, this bank holiday, and I'm going to be behind the bar serving. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me. It doesn't
not
bother
about
me.
craving anything, though, is
Do-
it? Because after 2 or 3 weeks, physical addiction is gone.
Yeah.
So addiction isn't, or what we suffer from, isn't about craving at all. It's something entirely different that we all know that it's in your head.
As soon as that
It's-
switches,
It's
it goes.
that that's doing it. It's not alcohol. It's not drugs. None of that is the issue here. None of it. The issue is, if we slip, we haven't addressed something that's going on in there.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, and
Yeah.
whatever they've got, and we've all
Yeah.
got different stories and everything else.
Yeah.
We haven't addressed something.
Yeah.
And we
100%.
certainly haven't addressed something if we do it. And my biggest thing is the phone call should be first, not after. It's as
Well,
simple as
that never happens. You don't think about that, do you?
I don't know. I've never done
you
it. So I don't know.
you don't think about that. If you're on that, if that switch has gone off and you are going to pick up, you're going down that road, and someone goes, "Hang on a minute, earphone," then you go, "Fuck off, mate."
I mean, in the
Fuck off, mate.
is it like
Am I wrong?
No, in the
Am
past,
I wrong?
In the past, that's what.
You know what I mean?
Is it like just sort of pure
Yeah.
television?
I've not rang anybody
Yeah.
and said, "Oh, I'm thinking about getting some coke."
No.
I've just done it.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been told afterwards.
No.
But
No.
would you now, though?
I
I don't know. I've not been in that situation, so I've not
I'd
got
like to think I would now.
quality
But
to
I
say
don't know,
it
because
all.
I feel everything just feels different this time around. Like, I can't say I'm not going to do it again, because I don't know. I know I'm not going to do it today, and that's kind of how I just live in today, and I'm all right today, and that's how I look at it. I can't say in a year's time or 2 weeks' time I'm not
Well,
doing it.
nobody can say anything like that.
No.
No.
But I think that kind of keeps me like grounded and not cocky, because if I said, "Oh, fuck it, I'm never going to
Yeah.
do it again,"
Yeah.
then that's my ego getting involved,
Yeah.
and I think I'm too overconfident with it. And I don't think I don't want to ever be too overconfident and cocky with it.
No,
because
you
it'll bite me in
literally
the
can't.
arse.
You literally. I've
Bite me in
proven
the
that.
arse. Yeah.
I've proven
Yeah.
that. Thinking you're comfortable, and then things tip you over the edge, and it's there. You're like, "Oh," and it's so easy.
Mm.
And then when that switch goes off, and you've convinced yourself
Yeah.
that you're doing it, there isn't nobody going to stop you. Nobody. But then afterwards, you go, okay, this is where I'm at. It's like you said. Everybody's only one bad day away from
Absolutely.
A relapse.
a relapse. Everybody. You know, if you've got 10 years, 20 years, 3 months, you know what I mean? It's like if you start getting complacent, you know, things can happen. You know,
I've been in the rooms when people have been doing shares and talking about 25 years of sobriety. Then all of a sudden one day they just woke up one day, felt weird, and bang, went straight back out there.
Yeah.
Never came back.
Yeah.
Or if they did, it was like 2-3 years down the line. It just happens.
I'll just explain the feeling a little bit. You know that moment when you probably can relate to this, when you know that you're going, something's going to happen, and it's kind of like I get like a horrible knot in my stomach.
Yeah.
And then my hands start sweating, and then it's almost like, you know, like I can explain it. Like heat starts rising. And then you feel, and it's almost like you're kind of like evolving into something, and you're like, oh, hang on a minute, and then it switches, and then that's it, boom. I need to kind of look at that and control that better, you know, because that's what happened. I got pissed off, all that happened, and I could feel myself, and I'm like, oh. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what, fuck it.
I'm checking out.
You know what I mean? I'm checking out.
On a day off.
That's it. That's it. Well, it wasn't really a day, it was a couple of hours. But yeah, so I need to analyse a few things and and look at it. I'm sorry I've gone over, but
you're right.
You know, and that was just me being completely and brutally honest.
Well,
So
I'm really proud of you for doing it. For doing it because it was a big thing anyway originally, even before the slip. And B, doing it straight after the slip. I think it's essential to always do a share after a slip, but massive respect to you for doing that, because it takes a lot of guts to especially come on video and say that out loud. So yeah.
Well,
that's where we are. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, so yes, we're out of time. Let's go on quick again. So thank you everybody for listening and watching. Hopefully hearing Liam share has helped a few people out there really in the same boat, because we know there'll be thousands of people out there.
Yeah, there might be people who agree with what I've said, there might be people who disagree, you know. Just comment in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so give us a like, give us a comment. And just share the page for us. That'd be great. What are we on, Nick?
We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Get more followers and subscribers every week. We're doing well. And Jamie, do you want to give them a little bit about your new app?
If anybody's interested, I've got a Halton Hill app now, so it's like a diary that you can check in with yourself every single day. So anybody wants to know any information on it, just let us know.
Yeah, just put a comment on there for one of us, or go direct to Halton Hill. You'll find it on any social media page. So
I'll also post the link on the videos.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers. Thank you.